Welcome to Your Need to Know. I'm your host, Catherine Reed, and today I'm talking with the founder and a volunteer from a new program called She Believes in Me. I'm pleased to welcome to the show Renee Gorman, who is the founder, and Lori Barnes, who is a volunteer. Thank you, ladies, so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
I am intrigued by this program. You are in the schools creating a space for children who need a little extra help and attention. And you have marshaled an army and created this entire program, which is only a year old.
Correct.
So tell me, Renee, how did this idea come to you?
Okay. Well, as a school counselor, I work in a school with very high needs, and I was hearing a lot of things that were really touching my heart daily. And my sole job is to talk with them for a short period of time, but to support the education system and get them back into the classroom. I was finding that I was going home thinking about the magnitude of the problems the girls were telling me about, all the children for that matter, but specifically, largely the girls, and thinking that, did I solve that problem? Were they able to go back and learn? And the answer that just kept coming back to me, and the girls just keep coming back to me, which told me that I needed to develop a program. I needed to develop an army. I knew there were other people out there who want to help these girls. It just wasn't resonating with me that my 15 minutes with them during the school day was enough. I needed more time with them.
And I think children in the main benefit from the uninterrupted, patient attention of an adult. And that's not always parents who are working more than one job, or who are living in a situation that is stressful. And so, Lori, tell me a little bit about what you found when you came into this program.
Well, I have the pleasure of knowing Renee through mutual friends, and I have to tell you, I had been already participating as a mentor in this school and had some familiarity with the challenges that these children faced that were outside the norms. You know, we live here in Fairfax County, and we presume that it's a very wealthy county. People are well taken care of. This is typically a Title I environment, and a lot of these children face some unusual challenges. And so, just listening to their stories through my mentoring experience, when I heard about this program that Renee was founding, and that she was really looking to give voice to these children, to be able to give them hope, and that we, the volunteers, would become the she, and She Believes in Me, enabling these kids to feel empowered, inspired, and know that there is hope for them for a better tomorrow. I just got really excited. I became a volunteer early on back in the fall with Renee, and have had the privilege of helping to work with them to shape some fundraising to enable the programs to move forward. And it's just been so exciting to see the impact from the very first program that Renee put on, the smiles on the girls' faces, just the way they light up when they have the individual attention of an adult, as you said. It's just so clear that they're hungry for it, and it's meeting a distinct need, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it.
So you created this from scratch. This is your own program.
That's right.
And you kind of had to come up with the architecture and how it would go. And you also had to recruit an army of volunteers.
That's right.
So what was your pitch like when you went out to recruit people like Lori?
So I started with the people that are knowns. Knowns are people I work with. I know they love kids. I know they'll be there for the kids. So I started with them. And then I started with my close friends. And then I started with my church members. And then they started telling their friends about it. So it just grew from there. Word of mouth, passion, the willingness of others, the community to help.
So how did you design the program itself? Like, what is the program? Help us understand how you went about setting this up.
So basically, I designed the program on what I was hearing from the girls daily, a myriad of issues that they would come in, and they kept coming in with the same type of things, not feeling good about themselves, offering their self-esteem being low, parents immigrating over or not having a parent, alcoholism, things like that. Very painful, deep things that the girls needed someone's undivided attention to. So this is really where I started forming, like She's a Gift. We knew that they need their inner, to talk about their inner beauty, not just being preoccupied with how they feel on the outside, but validating who they were inside. Also, She's Lucky. We want to talk to them about their relationships with their parents, with their girlfriends, with members of the other sex. So we wanted them to learn some healthy communication skills. Also during our health fair, we wanted them to learn healthy coping skills. They're not using healthy coping skills, so we needed them to learn some ways to deal with stress in their life, pain in their life.
So you're being preemptive, really, because we all understand what happens. Kids end up getting involved in substance abuse and other kind of unhealthy behaviors as a way of self-medicating problems and stresses. So you do this on a monthly basis?
Yes, every month we have an event, and we have about 160 girls attending. We have about 30 plus volunteers. And it's really grown from there. And the interest is, every month they're asking, when is another one? They're just so excited about it. And the volunteers are equally anticipating the events as well.
So how do the girls join the program? Is there some system for the girls say they want to be in the program, or how do they access the program?
So each month I notify the girls what the title of the program is. We put out permission slips for the girls to take part in. But what inevitably ends up happening is I have 30 girls that day at the door with a permission, and I will not turn a girl down.
Right.
They show up with their permission form, they're in the program. So it's word of mouth, it's excitement, it's enthusiasm that's built throughout the year, and now they know they're anticipating that event every month.
I think it's wonderful too. Obviously, the parents are also informed because they've given their consent that their children should participate in this. So you're kind of involving the parents too.
Absolutely.
So what kind of feedback are you getting from the girls, as they're going through this program? You've had one whole year now.
I'm so glad you asked that question. We actually just conducted a survey of about 80 girls that participated in our program at our last event in May, which was called She's Hopeful, as Renee said, really helping the girls hold on to that hope as they head off into the summer. And one of the things she talked about was these themes that she's created, and I think that's been so integral to creating excitement for the girls because it resonates with them. Things like the health fair doesn't sound so great until we talk to them about, we're looking at it from Renee's perspective, creating something that meets their needs from a mental health perspective, ways to work out their stress, physical activity, things like that. And so she would frame each of these themed programs around a need that she saw with the girls. And whether they realized it or not, they were having fun, they were learning coping skills, they were learning a way that they could take something away from the program back at home to help them in their everyday lives. So they learned yoga, they learned Zumba.
Nice.
We had a whole program on being creative, how to assess your creativity, whether it's music, art, painting, writing, and had people come in and perform, and then gave the girls canvases actually and let them paint and explore. So seeing the kinds of things that can be accomplished in a 2-hour program on a Saturday morning, and the joy and the hope that it gives, and the skills. The skills that the girls are leaving with that they don't even realize they're leaving with is what's making this program so successful.
I mean, you're embedding these skills early too. What are the ages of the girls?
So we have offered it to as early as 1st grade and up to 6th grade. So the earlier the better is what we're finding.
I agree, because the sooner they learn these coping skills, the better off they are as they move forward in each grade, because the challenges change. The challenges or the problems that a 1st grader has is very different from the challenges a 4th grader has.
Correct.
And especially how girls see themselves. We were talking a little bit before about the show. When people accept and love themselves, they're far more likely to be accepting and loving and kind to other people. And I've noticed, and I did some mentoring too in an elementary school, there's a kind of a mean girl thing.
Yeah.
It's disturbing to actually see where in the world young girls pick up this sort of judgmental, mean girl, I don't like her sort of thing.
Right, and I think it's exactly what, as we discussed. Girls can be judged in society, so from the whole, whether it be boys or girls, and then they're kind of getting used to that, so therefore they're judging each other, rating each other, not wanting to have each other's back, but also attacking each other, either verbally by talking by somebody's back, or sometimes there's physical situations that arise.
So, but I'm assuming that when you get all these girls together, what is the atmosphere like? What is the energy like in the room?
You know, I think it feels like a big birthday party sometimes. You know, we have balloons, we've got tablecloths, we try to provide a snack. We have people greet them at the door and walk them into the tables and introduce them to their table leaders, which are our volunteers and mentors that are really our volunteers that are our core group that really just meeting the girls with a smile is what they're mostly looking for, and then helping them to be engaged through the program. We have the 2 hours broken into different sections. Renee and her team with event planners have done an amazing job of just, you know, whether it's a musical thing and then we'll have a speaker that provides a message of hope or empowerment, then we'll switch to an art project depending on what the theme is. And it just goes very quickly, but it gives that opportunity at each table of girls for the adults at that table to have time to connect, to have that eye contact. It'll make them feel important and welcomed, which is really what this is all about.
Absolutely, well said.
I think the individualized attention makes a difference too. I saw the Vimeo video that you had posted, and there's a lot of hugging that goes on.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
You know, how important is it really for a child to be hugged?
That's so true.
Especially the younger ones. You know, and you mentioned that it's from first grade on up, and one of the reasons that it went that way, because Renee started it really just looking at the upper elementary kids, but a lot of these children care for their younger siblings on the weekends, and they would not be able to participate if they didn't bring their younger siblings along. And so we welcome them, we're happy to have them there, and Renee has received just some incredibly heartwarming letters from some of the older girls saying flat out how proud they are to be able to bring their younger siblings and engage them at a young age, that they'll be getting the messages that they feel are so important to help turn the corner early and engage them in that empowerment and hope.
You know, I think that's one of the things we don't consider is that in some situations, older siblings really are taking care of younger ones, that you don't have that. That's not necessarily what we think of as a prevalent in sort of the white affluent middle class culture.
Right.
You know, your children are in daycare programs or after school programs, but that's not everybody.
That's exactly
That's
true.
a lot of responsibility for older siblings.
It's a lot of responsibility, and even when the health fair, we had a first aid station because it came to Renee's attention that these kids were home alone, responsible for younger siblings, and didn't maybe know what to do. So we had nurses come in from the local high school and students who taught them the basics of dialing 911, when do I call for help, how do I apply a Band-Aid. So it was things like that there's a need being met that wouldn't be otherwise addressed in a very friendly and empowering way.
You know, I think all of this is incredible. The fact that you're doing what I would call the soft things as well as the practical things.
Right.
And children obviously need both. So we're going to go to a break.
Okay.
But when we come back, I really want you all to pay attention to this new program, She Believes in Me. This is offering girls something that they're not necessarily getting anywhere else. And all of you watching can be a part of that too. So please join us after the break.
Operation Wonder Park is a go!
There's nothing more powerful than imagination.
Honey, have you seen my cell phone?
But don't just imagine.
My park came to life?
Ooh, a plot twist.
Use STEM to build, create,
She did it.
and change the world.
Who's with me?
I'm more of a 2 feet on the ground kind of guy.
It's gonna hurt tomorrow.
If she can STEM, so can you. Find out more at She Can STEM.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. Talk with your doctor to create a treatment plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Sweetie. Okay, you know what? Let's take off his sweatshirt. Get rid of pictures of him. You don't have to look at him. Goodbye, Dave.
Mom, you don't understand. He's tagged in like 400 of my posts.
I can cut out tags.
No, that's not how it works.
What is a tag?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to share their first with you.
Your girls have been with you through every moment of your life. They were with you when you felt unbreakable, and with you when you had your heart broken. They were with you when you shared your love with the world, and with you when she became your world. They're still with you right now. But how well do you know them?
Welcome back to Your Need to Know. I'm your host, Catherine Reed, and today I'm talking with Renee Gorman and Lori Barnes of She Believes in Me, which is a brand new program that started this past school year and really helps to imbue the sort of skills that girls need in order to cope. Some of them coping with really traumatic things. Yep. So after your first year, and you've had this experience, and you've done a survey, and you've gotten the feedback, where do you go from here as far as what you plan to do over the summer, planning for your expansion next year?
We've been approached by a lot of other communities saying, wow, this is great, I really want to do this. How can I start this in my area? So one of our things is that we want growth. We want to help more girls. Right. We'd like to move out to Loudoun County, expand in Fairfax County, helping girls. I've even been approached by other states. That's down the road. But there's a need out there for this. It's very, very apparent that there's a need. So we want new chapters. We want more volunteers. If it was up to me, I'd have one volunteer per girl. That means that one girl is getting that attention. There are folks that don't want to work particularly with children. We have areas in all types of business development, finance. I am a person with passion. I'm a school counselor. I'm not a business person. So I welcome anybody with that business sense to come join us as well. There's lots of areas for need to help with She Believes in Me.
Oh, absolutely. And so what are some of the things that you hope to fund in the coming year?
Well, Renee has set some lofty goals. In addition to planting those chapters, we really are looking at creating the framework for next year's programming. You know, this year we were able to conduct 7 programs in the elementary school, but one of the goals through more fundraising is to be able to have field trips. The girls are already attending the school and the meetings are held there simply from a cost perspective, but with funding coming in, we want to offer field trips. We want to take the girls and the mentors out into the community to experience things in a safe way that they just don't. These girls come from limited means primarily, and so they're not participating in after-school clubs or soccer or things that are so basic. So it doesn't need to be, very complicated to have a big impact. We just conducted that survey, and one of the questions we asked is, if you were planning the field trip, girls, where would you like to go? Ooh. And some of them were super cute. They want to go to Disney World.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
That's a big fundraising
but there
goal.
were some really precious answers. I would like to go to a park. I would like to go to a restaurant. I would like to go to the zoo. Things that we can do for these girls that they're not getting elsewhere. And to have someone, take them by the hand and take them on that trip and open their eyes to possibilities and have that time of engagement is really what we're hoping to accomplish with more money.
And so I'm assuming, since you're building your infrastructure, that between the end of this school year and the start of the next one, you're going to have people going out talking to organizations about your program. Like, I'm a Rotarian. People who watch the show know I'm a Rotarian. I'm a big believer in organizations like yours, talking to the Women's Club, the Kiwanis, the JCs, the Lions Club, the Rotary Club, because they're all service organizations and they raise money in order to give it away. Do you have sort of a speakers bureau, or have you not gotten to the point where it's like, reach out to us through our website and we'll send a speaker to your organization?
Right. Well, we do. We have had, we've polled a lot of people, volunteers. We have something on our website that says, how can you help us? So please, encourage everyone to go to the website. But we've also coupled with, we've partnered with a lot of nonprofits. We've done Women Giving Back. They've offered.
They're great.
Yes, yeah. They've sent a bus, picked up 30-some girls. They got 50 pieces of clothing. We did that in the fall, and then we did that in the spring. The girls not only got themselves clothing, they would get clothing for a little brother or sister or mom.
Oh, that's amazing.
So it was a wonderful experience. We also coupled with, partner with Project Hope. Project Hera. Mm-hmm. Project Hera is a music, they're trying to empower girls with music, whether it be playing an instrument or, a singer or whatever. So we expose the girls to music. And
the Seva truck.
Oh, Seva truck.
Amazing.
Yes. So that is a truck that came to our last event, and they offer nutritious meals to girls. So it's a food truck. And it's a business owner who took a year hiatus from his business to start this food truck. And he would go around to schools or communities that are in need. And he came to us, and we offered over 150 meals that day to girls.
Wow.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic.
It is so unique. I mean, it's just different. And I can see how it would be exciting to these girls, not to just to have these experiences, but to have experiences with other girls. like building this community.
right.
Building a
That's
community
right.
and feeling supported by the broader community. To see someone with a food truck willing to come in and do this, to see someone with musical skills coming in and being willing to perform and share their talents. And we're very blessed to have partnership with Flores United Methodist Church in Herndon. It's the church that both Renee and I belong to, and they were able to come through with funding that's going to help us really move forward with some of the planning that we need to do to develop our programs even further.
Faith communities are an untapped resource. I mean, there are always people looking for something to do, but they don't know what to do.
Absolutely.
And I find too, when you're looking for volunteers, so many adults will say, but I don't know what I have to offer. Like, I don't know how I could help. Like, I don't know if I, you know, and you're trying to teach girls to value themselves, accept themselves, and understand they have inherent value and worth. But, you know, adults need to understand by simply showing up and being present, they're offering that.
Yes, and I think that's one of the things Tomerlin, the pastor, pointed out to me. I mean, I'm a helper, but is that innate within a lot of people? And he said, Renee, you're giving them a gift. People want to do this.
People
I think
do.
so
And
too.
I have seen this turn into something that is not only a gift to me, but a gift to the girls
It's
and everyone
transformative.
involved.
And we should really point out that for anybody that's interested in volunteering, we try to make it easy and fun. We have a Sign Up Genius, which a lot of people are familiar with, where you can look at the program, you can look at the dates, the location, what the program's going to be about. All of our programs so far have taken place from 10 to 12 on Saturday mornings, but we offer a half hour of training ahead of time. So anyone who hasn't participated in our program before has an opportunity to come, to learn about what we're going to be doing that day. We lay out the agenda, we send that to everybody ahead of time, and then we walk them through that. If they haven't been with our organization, we have a video that we share that shares with them who our girls are, who the population is that we serve, and a little bit about what our program looks like before they come through the door. We want to establish that comfort level so that everybody, when they come to serve, knows exactly kind of what their role is, and it comes back down to that whole basic thing of just sharing your time and a smile and a word of encouragement. And if you can do that for 2 hours on a Saturday morning once a month, you're just making a huge difference in the lives of these children.
Absolutely.
And to scale the program, you're obviously going to have to exponentially expand the number of volunteers.
Correct. Yes, we're always looking to expand our volunteer base. As I said, one per each girl is my goal.
And they've shown that mentoring really is what makes the biggest difference for children, students of any age, whether they're very young or they're older in high school. Mentoring is what makes the difference for them. So, but you've structured it in a way that you've got a program, and I think that's helpful too, because some adults may not know where to start in an interaction with a child. Like, what do we talk about? Like, how do we start? But you've kind of set it up so that you're helping everybody ease into a relationship.
Absolutely. From the icebreakers that they set up at the very beginning of the program to having the whole agenda laid out where people just follow through. And you're leading the girls through the events, but there's all this support. We have, you know, leaders and speakers that are at the front and performers that are taking place. It really just becomes this sort of fun atmosphere, like very much like a birthday
Like
party
a
or like
birthday.
anything
It
that's.
is.
It's a 2-hour program that's got a lot of parts and pieces that are, as we talked about before, not only meeting a need and teaching some skills, but really connecting with the adults in the room.
And I think giving the girls something you touched on, time to spend with their friends.
Yeah.
Because when you only get a 20-minute recess and you're trying to build a friendship, it's not enough time. So how do we all build relationships? We bond. We go have a good time together. We go out to eat or do something like that. It's giving these girls that time with each other to explore each other, bond with each other, and I think in the long run that's going to help with some of their skills, their relationship skills, because there is constant conflict. There is. Yeah. But if they don't have that freedom and time to bond with each other, it's really hard for them. So I think that's another way that we're helping the girls as well.
Oh, I think it's true. And I think, too, that some of the girls in your program have real crises and trauma that they're dealing with. And to take a break from the environment where you're dealing with stressors to be someplace else where for a little while you can be with trusted adults and have a good time with your friends, that has to be balm for the soul in ways that it couldn't possibly be measured.
Absolutely. I just think the joy you can feel. You asked what the feeling in the room was. It's jubilation. You feel the joy that a party, a festive atmosphere, hugging, laughter, smiles.
Yeah.
It's a great atmosphere, and you can just feel the joy you're bringing to them, and they're bringing to us. Yeah. It's so reciprocal.
So as you scale the program, you're looking at resources. So you're fundraising, you're looking at resources, you're looking at volunteers. But as you start the program in new locations at the beginning of next school year, are you going to have experienced people like Lori going into these programs to kind of help set it up so that you can kind of train the other new set of volunteers in the new program? Because how would you do this exponentially? I'm just wondering how in the world you're going to replicate.
Exactly. I think this year has been a lot of rolling our sleeves up and digging in, but what we'd like to be is actually advising other people how to set these up, as well as running as well. But I think we would be going into and modeling instead of just handing a manual or say, this is how you do it.
Right.
I think they need to see it before they do it. So that's very important.
Yeah, and I mean, Renee, to their credit, in establishing these 7 programs, we've captured all of that information. So we have themed programs already in place that have a whole list of content of what can be included. So it's almost like a toolkit. Right. So when a school wants to start the program, we can explain and show them how we did it, how we tapped volunteers, how we set up the Sign Up Genius, then getting the space, the basics. And then what are we going to do? Well, here you go. Here's how we ran She's a Gift. Here's how we ran She's Lucky. Here's what the messages were and the purpose were and the interactions and the creative crafts or whatever it was that was a part of that program, so that it's captured and should be very easy for someone to replicate and be able to duplicate that wherever they want to take it.
So now in year 2, now that you've done the first program, are you going to have to recreate for the same set of girls something new?
I think that we could absolutely do the same exact things and they would have the same amount of fun. Of course, we're going to tweak it. I want them all to be interested in what's going on, but so maybe different speakers, maybe different performers, maybe different artists.
So are we looking for same formula but different people maybe? Like our viewers out there who are like, well, I have a talent, I have a thing, or I've done this before,
let's capitalize on that. That's right, yes. If you have a talent, you're a speaker, or you've been through something tough, you're an immigrant, or you're an artist, or you have a clothing store to offer, or a restaurant that you'd like the girls to dine in, learn etiquette. Anything along that line.
Oh, it's great. I mean, there's so many people in the community that have something to share, whether it's the business that they have or the skills that they have or a talent they have. And it's just incredible to be able to offer this venue where people can come in and, maybe not everybody's a public speaker. Like you said, maybe not everybody's even working with children, but you are a great ice cream scooper. And you would just like to stand there for an hour and dish ice cream to these lovely children. And it just, it really does make a difference. It's incredible.
What you're describing is people giving the gift of themselves.
Yes.
Right. And I think that if we could leave anybody with a thought here, it's that everybody out there has something to offer, something to give. Please go to the website and figure out how you can contribute to She Believes in Me. And that is what you need to know.